Project 2027, Predicting Nuclear Trends of the Future by Andrew Johnson, Kayla Seeloff, Clayton Dragg, Benjamin Farmer, Robert Hanf, Monica Hargrove, and Roger Bolton. In the 2027 we envision, the single largest technological innovation that will shape the global economy will be a revolution in nuclear energy. Many people are familiar with nuclear energy in the form of nuclear fission, but we predict the development of nuclear fusion to take over the energy market in the upcoming years. While fusion energy has been a technology dreamed of for decades, constantly out of reach of actual development, several major developments have been brought fusion energy closer to creation than ever. Global awareness over CO2 emissions and concerns over nuclear fission after incidents like Fukushima Daiichi meltdown have pushed the public's focus even more towards fusion energy. The International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, or ITER, is on schedule to be developed by 2019, with funding from countries in Europe, Asia, and the Americas. It is important to understand that nuclear fusion is different than nuclear fission. Nuclear fission is the process of splitting up relatively large and rare materials, such as uranium-235, and harnessing leftover energy. It carries with it some of the most well-known dangers associated with nuclear energy. Nuclear fusion takes small and much more common materials, usually deuterium and tritium, and raises them to extremely high temperatures, over tens of millions of degrees Celsius, to combine them and create a heavier nucleus with the release of energy. Some of the most important things to note about the difference between nuclear fusion and nuclear fission are the risks associated with them. Nuclear fusion does not carry with it the risks like nuclear fission does. The key difference is that fission requires rare and potentially dangerous unstable materials and creates dangerous waste products, which increases unnecessary cost and danger. Fusion, on the other hand, takes easy to obtain hydrogen and creates relatively safe and useful helium. Simply put, fusion is safer, more efficient, more sustainable, and cheaper in the long run than any other source of energy known to mankind. A threat to commercialized nuclear fusion becoming a reality is choice or lack of potential demand. Communities could prefer other alternative energy sources such as solar power and wind energy. States that are heavily invested in coal and solar energy could make it harder to build commercial fusion plants. Moreover, price will also be an issue with commercial nuclear fusion being in its infancy. Alternative energies could possibly sell at wholesale, giving increased government subsidies. With this new technology, the prices will be inefficient at first. The biggest threat to commercial nuclear fusion becoming mainstream is confusion. When it comes to nuclear fusion, people assume it is similar to nuclear fission. That is why people refuse to have a nuclear power plant built near their community. However, the public has been misled about facts surrounding nuclear fusion. While awareness and funding have increased, technology is closer than ever. There are several developments that still need to occur for sustainable fusion reactors to become a viable form of energy. The largest hurdle to overcome is the challenge of making a sustainable fusion reaction that has a higher energy output than its inputs. To do this, more efficient petawatt lasers and superconductors need to be developed first. While ITER and similar projects receive funding from the United States, there are still wide gaps in the budgets versus the required funds to meet their developmental benchmarks in time. Fusion energy can significantly change the energy market, environment, and political landscape. The relative abundance of fusion materials, significantly smaller impact on the environment, and lack of geographic restrictions associated with other clean energy sources means that fusion energy plants can make energy independence a reasonable possibility for any developed or developing country, not just the United States. This would reduce the economic power of oil cartels, reduce CO2 emissions, and reduce the need for government spending on environmental regulation in the energy industry. The cost to create fusion reactors would be high, but the long-term benefits could create significant economic savings. There are many benefits of commercial nuclear fusion electricity. The energy created through fusion is 3 to 4 times more powerful than energy released by fission, and the materials, deuterium, tritium fuel, used to create fusion reactions can generate 10 million times more energy than the same amount of conventional fossil fuels. Such power generation capacity can power many large cities and communities many times over. The waste created by commercial fusion is far less impactful, and there aren't any threats of hazardous nuclear waste and potential meltdowns. It means we can start building commercial fusion plants in population centers, creating more jobs, and raising the standard of living in every community that invests in the construction and operation of commercial fusion facilities. In addition to improving human capital, key sectors have benefited from technological spin-offs from fusion research, such as medicine, improved magnet and laser technology used in MRIs, and short-pulse lasers for use in surgery. The manufacturing industry has already benefited from the creation of new materials that can withstand high pressure and intense heat, such as carbon fiber composite coated with tungsten. Even technology used to heat plasma and fusion reactions, or ion source technology, is now being adapted to harden or sculpt materials. In addition to improving our domestic economy and environment, commercial nuclear fusion can also help improve global trade and protect the global environment. Because many nations have substantial supplies of resources needed for the nuclear fusion process, global economic cooperation will only get better. Even now, ITER, the Way, is a program of 35 nations cooperating to build the world's first sustainable nuclear fusion plant. Commercial fusion can also reduce stress on the global environment by helping developing nations build economies through environmentally friendly means. With nuclear fusion being a powerful, more sustainable, cleaner alternative, it will create a negative effect on the coal industry, lessening its market share. The coal industry has been losing ground to other energy sources and will continue to lose ground with the advent of commercialized nuclear fusion. Higher demand for commercial fusion electricity will mean less demand for coal-fired electricity, creating profit losses and losses of employment in coal-producing states such as Kentucky, West Virginia, Wyoming, and North and South Dakota. Fusion electricity will also reduce demand for natural gas, lessening the need to transport large amounts of natural gas from long distances. This in turn would reduce the demand to explore new natural gas deposits, reducing the expensive need for offshore deep-sea drilling, further reducing the potential for drilling catastrophes that may damage our environment. Moreover, because commercialized nuclear fusion is by far the most sustainable clean energy source, other seasonal alternative energy sources, such as solar and wind energy, will also see their market share reduced. The enormous research potential of nuclear fusion would devour government funds that make cheap solar and wind energy possible. Immediate opportunities are present in a number of industries related to the research and development of fusion facilities. And as this technology comes to fruition, the need for these services will grow. The professions can range from highly advanced and technical skills down to manual labor. Things such as the suppliers of pipelines, electronic components, wires, magnets, computers, workstations, and many other essential items are required to build out these fusion facilities. There are going to be many different careers in science and engineering that will grow through the widespread use of fusion. Nations that are invested together in the development of this technology will have numerous opportunities to expand businesses' relations from one nation to another. There are 35 nations, with 27 of them in the EU, funding ITER, and business relations between these countries is essential to produce the quality and quantity of product needed to develop nuclear fusion. The emerging technologies that are being developed to create a fusion reactor will be able to spread out to other fields and be utilized in new ways. This is a wide-reaching web which could promote and economically boost many different industries that could benefit from less restriction to their electric power use. The compact fusion reactor developed by Lockheed Martin, which aims to have the item in production by 2025, will be able to be utilized in many different ways. Airplanes that fly around the globe without stopping for fuel, boats that could have endless trips at sea, and just one reactor would be able to power a small city. The opportunities that come from a compact fusion reactor are plentiful. This economic potential has led to great investments in many nuclear fusion startups, such as General Fusion, which believes they can find a faster, cheaper way to fusion than government-sponsored projects. Are backed by Amazon billionaire founder Jeff Bezos. Helion Energy, which wants to develop cheap carbon-free energy from the developing world, is backed by billionaire Peter Thiel, founder of PayPal, and Tri-Alpha Energy, which aspires to address the market demand for new power sources to help mitigate the climate impact of carbon-based power sources and cost-efficiently address the global demand for electricity, is being backed by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen.